could vaccinate the child. She said, "Doctor, I love the way you vaccinate. Can I record this video?"
But unfortunately, she didn't survive the COVID season. And as soon as I heard that she had died, my first thought was I need to come back to India.
What are the most common mistakes new parents do when bringing up their newborn? The most common ones you see in your clinic?
So 99.9% of the times, these babies are absolutely hale and healthy. I've done something called as branding to the baby.
Okay.
They have taken this hot metal rod, they burn it, they basically make it extremely hot, and they're with branding here.
Can you give us 2 or 3 important things parents have to do in the first 1,000 days of life?
Internet is a public toilet. Anybody can come and do whatever you want to.
Hi everybody, today we're going to be answering a lot of childcare questions that new parents have and a lot of other parents have about their bringing up their children, immunization, vaccination, a lot of different questions. Here I have Dr. Sethu and Dr. Syed, famously known as Dr. Hi-Fi. And I don't know, I'm sure everybody's seen videos of you immunizing children, vaccinating children without them even getting to know about it.
Exactly.
And his was the first few, he was the one who started the trend back then in 2022. I think one of your videos became really famous, and that's how everybody got to know that, oh, this is a fun way to actually vaccinate children without them even getting to know about it. So Dr. Hi-Fi is a fun name for it, and I'm sure children love you and love giving you high-fives.
Absolutely.
And what more can you tell us about your practice and how Dr. Hi-Fi came into practice?
Well, Mansa, first and foremost, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure, it's an honor. And coming back to your question, why Dr. Hi-Fi came, so let me clarify, it is not a hi-fi. I'm not a hi-fi doctor, but it's about hi-fis. So I've been practicing since 2013-14, okay? And every time patients come to me, I always had this I always used to see parents anxious, right? Whether it is general checkup, their child is sick, the parent anxious. Vaccination day, parents are a little worried. So I would see the experience is bitter, painful, parents are emotional, child is crying. I said, how can I make it less painful? How can I, do something about it? How can I think out of the box? Then I started distracting children. I used to play with the toys. I would become a clown. I would become a monkey for that matter. I don't care. I just want the child to. So it went on going on for about 8 to 10 years. And one particular day, I remember September, it was the 20th of September 2022. One mother who's been coming to me for vaccinations. She said, just before I could vaccinate the child, she said, "Doctor, I love the way you vaccinate. Can I record this video?" I said, go ahead. So she recorded that video, and I gave her 2 shots to the girl. She didn't even blink an eye. She gave her high five. I gave her high five. Then I said, "Wow, doctor, thank you. Doctor, can I upload this video and tag you?" I said, "Go ahead." I came home as a routine day. I just came home and I just had my dinner and I was just scrolling on Instagram. I had a very poor, below poverty line Instagram. I had about 412 followers, and I used to upload videos till then, and I used to threaten my wife to like those videos, and I used to message my friends also to, "Abey Saleh, you don't like? I'm gonna." I used to get 5 likes, 6 likes as a charity. People used to help me. So that night was different. Then I came home, scrolled. From 412, I had become 815 or something. I scrolled. 1,200. I scrolled again. I refreshed again. 2,300. I'm having food and it's not going down my throat. I'm scrolled again. It's at 5,000. I called my wife. I'm having panic attack. Something wrong with my phone. I think some virus, fungus, bacteria. I don't know what has come. She took my phone. 12,000 subscribers. Whose phone is this? She said, "It's my phone." Then midnight, 1 a.m., I had 82,000 followers, okay?
Wow.
In a few hours.
In few hours. And I went to, then she told me this is virality. Then she said, this is called as virality. Your so-called content, which you have not shown to the world, somebody else has put it up. So that's viral. So of course, after that, I got into lakhs and I crossed million. So in that video, when I gave high five, a lot of comments were there. Wow, the way he vaccinated is fun, and the high five was fun. So there are a lot of comments were there. High five, the way you give high five is good. So my wife said, rather than having Dr. Mujahid Hussain, why don't you change the handle, name given by people, given by those lovely people, change to high five. So then I changed to high five. Then the rest is It's going on.
You have, I think, over 5 million followers across all platforms right
yes.
now. Yes.
Cumulative, yes. Instagram about 2.1, 2.2 million subscribers. Yeah.
But Dr. Hi-Fi, the name will stick, I'm sure. And it's a great name.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Vansa. Thank you so much.
Okay, and we have Dr. Sethu here, who's a developmental pediatrician, and he worked in the UK for a long time. And after 32 years of experience, I think, is that right?
Yeah,
You are at India now. So, what made you come to India?
See, much before I decided to come back to India, I was already having a plan of returning back to India sometime or the other. There was that want, that need to get back to India. And because even in my younger days, I have worked with a lot of social commitments before I went to UK. And even when I was there, my daughters and family was very much involved, many of the social work there. So a time came when my mom was telling me, you need to come back, help our people here. Why do you want to be there? But unfortunately, she didn't survive the COVID season. And as soon as I heard that she had died, my first thought was I need to come back to India. And at the end of that year, I came back to India and started working for an NGO. And I've been with that NGO for 2.5 years. And much recently, just about a month ago, I started on another NGO, which is kind of spreading nationally. So I've been then anointed me as the director of the children's services for that, which I'm not informed yet.
But I think people in India do need you, and we all need more pediatricians who are very well versed in this, because there are a lot of children, our population is growing, and I think we need pediatricians all the time.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's dive right into the questions. My first question will be for Dr. Syed. What are the most common mistakes new parents do when bringing up their newborns? The most common ones you see in your clinic?
You're talking about newborns.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, I mean, hell lot of mistakes. Honestly speaking, most of the times, what as a pediatrician, what we as pediatricians are doing is disillusioning parents about so many myths and misconceptions. We recently had, I saw this baby who was about 3 months, 3.5 months, and qualified educated father, parents, mother, and they have done something called as branding to the baby.
Oh my God.
Okay.
They have taken this hot metal rod, they burn it, they basically make it extremely hot, and they put branding here. And I was so, first and foremost, I was infuriated. I was so angry. I was like, what is this? What's wrong with the baby here? What's happening? No, sir, though, as a traditionally now Marti, we do that in tradition. For what? So that the baby doesn't get seizures in future. And the branding is done also here on the temple and also on the groin area.
Oh my God.
And I was losing my cool. I was like, mother and father were sitting in front of me. I said, whose idea was it? Yes, sir, my grandmother, she believes in this. She has been doing it tradition. I said, please call her inside right now. They said, no, sir, she's not come. I will ensure your grandmother spends the rest of her life behind the bars. I was like so furious.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? What's wrong with you? So like this, there are hundreds and thousands of things. And most common things are giving this pre-lacteal foods. Like, breastfeeding is the only and the best and the sole nourishment an infant, a newborn baby should receive first 4 to 6 months of life. And they invariably feed the baby with some dates, some honey, some other spice, some masala puri, pani. I don't know what rubbish. I mean, everything they keep experimenting. So this I'm extremely against about. And also they do this, fumes, hot fumes. They expose the baby for the smoke. They give the baby basically smoke after bath. Apparently to clear sambrani kind of a thing. Apparently to clear the nostrils and eyes and all that. So a lot of things, innumerable things we come across every other day. And recently I had one more baby who had been administered apparently a brand of brandy called as biscuit brandy. I said, sir, no, biscuit brandy, sir, it is very good for baby's immunity. You look like an alcoholic to me. If you love alcohol and brands, go enjoy all the brands. Tiny little one, 3 months. Don't ever think of, how the sir? Oh, I thought, sir, it is tradition in my family. Then I immediately made a video. Immediately, I didn't waste time. I took permission. In fact, mother was more of against those things. She said, sir, I hate such practices, sir. So please, I want you to carry my baby and record this video. And I will share this video with all the grandparents and everybody. So like this, oral, an external application, and kajal, too much of kajal. They apply so much of kajal, you can spot the child from 500 kilometers. That is the baby there. So much of kajal in the eye. It's so destructive for their health. So there are a lot of traditional cultural practice. I'm not against any religion, culture or thing. I'm saying my emphasis is, if any of your practices are harming your baby, it is wrong. No matter how many centuries you've been following it, you find out the scientific basis behind it. If a doctor says it is destructive, detrimental for that, please don't do that. Still, it is very difficult to educate, very difficult, right?
Yeah.
They're so deep in their fabric of belief and, this faith. It's too much hard to take it out.
I
Correct.
believe that female genital mutilation
Oh my
has started off. in
I
India.
don't know. It's been happening in a lot of countries. In India, a few places I have heard these incidents are happening, and if it is a beginning of this huge devastation, then high time that it should be immediately be stopped and somebody should interfere, because that's happening in few countries and in some cultures of the other
I
countries,
think in African countries.
African countries. Yeah, but for Indian setup, that will be, I mean, barbaric.
Yeah. But what I mean is these are all different forms of child abuse, isn't it?
Yeah.
So do you have any form of sort of curtailing this so it doesn't spread?
No, see, the only medium which we are using as pediatricians, every doctor for that matter, is doing their own amazing job. Education, awareness, in any form possible. See, I scare them. I scare them sometimes to an extent. Some adamant, very obstinate families who who have such strong belief in their culture. I tell them very clearly, your child will not grow up to be normal. You may also lose your child. I go to such an extent. They may hate me, they may love me, I don't care. Because they don't understand. So I think everybody should speak about it. The real meaning of doctor is not just the one who treats, the one who educates. That's my personal belief and ideology, that practicing in your cabin is one thing, reach the masses. Preventive healthcare is most important. Ensure that those people are aware of things, so that before, if somebody suggests them, they know that, okay, this was told by my doctor.
This is wrong.
This I'm not supposed to do. So thank you for your advice. So I'm not going to practice this. I'm not going to apply this.
Excellent.
I think education is the most powerful thing.
Tradition is important, but you should listen to your doctor first. Nothing should harm your baby, right?
Yes.
Correct. Okay. So my second question is to Dr. Sethu, and my question is for parents who are just noticing that their child is a little different. So, some small signs here and there. What are some signs they should look out for in their development of the child, that something is different, something is off?
See, I think the most important therapist, if I may say so, are the parents. And I think right from the time of birth, they've got so used to the child's every little nuances that perhaps we as physicians might not have noticed. But when they live with the baby 24/7, and they know that there are these changes, and they've heard from other people. And nowadays, parents are quite well educated as well, reading books and watching little video clips. If this is moving away from the standard deviation, 2 standard deviations, and they come and tell you that my baby is not doing this. Why is it so? It can become a bit of a botheration as well, because people are so well informed that every little symptom becomes a big disorder. Like, my child does not show eye contact, but it might be something related to eye rather than related to a big condition called autism. So these are the things that come very often in a very bizarre manner. I think the most commonest thing that I've come across is saying that there's a feeding problems is initial. Sometimes they might have breathing problems. Some of them might, if there was a baby who was in the neonatal care for a long time, seizures and irritability. These are the early signs. And when they come with the history that it's been going on for quite some time, then we have got to look into it. And then developmental delay, basically you need to wait till 3 months, 3 to 6 months before you can say anything about it. And so it's not very easy for a pediatrician when he's faced by a baby, unless there's a very clear-cut history that the child might have suffered some sort of a brain damage. Then it's easier to look into the trajectory of how the difficulty evolved.
So my next question is to you, Dr. Syed. It's about how can parents manage sleep patterns and cluster feeding? Because we spoke about newborns, and then the next step is sleep patterns and cluster feeding. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
See, this is one of the biggest challenges, I would say, when the moment a parent becomes a parent. Now, I call them brand new parents. They are like, excited. They have become father, mother. So first thing they come and tell is, doctor, my baby cries all night. Or obviously, right? Baby is the baby. So first 3 to 6 weeks, in fact 3 months, up to 3 to 4 months, they keep visiting multiple times saying, "Sir, he's crying, sir, he's crying, he's crying." So 99.9% of the times, these babies are absolutely hale and healthy. They're healthier than the parents. Parents are exhausted and sleep deprived. So I tell them this, see, when you were carrying the baby in your womb, first 9 months of 9.5 months, whatever. So what would you do in the daytime? You would walk around. You would sit, you would stand, you're in the erect position. The baby, the womb becomes a cradle for the baby. It's like the jhula, this tie, the sari wala. It becomes like that. So baby is swinging. So when you go to the bed at night, when you go and lie down and sleep, that cradle position is now disturbed. It's gone. The baby rolls over. So this has happened for 8 to 9 months. But the moment baby is out, what do you think baby will do in the daytime? What it was doing in the day? It would sleep, right? And in the night, the moment it is night, baby would because that she was set for that circadian rhythm or a cycle. So it takes about 3 to 4 months of age for babies to come out of it and get adjusted to this world of sunrise and sunset and all that. So this is one of the reasons. And of course, there are other reasons, minor reasons like infantile colics, there will be cramp, there will be sometimes ear pain, there will be some gastric issues, so on and so forth. So I tell parents, see, it is very challenging. Every baby is unique. Though most of babies do that, some babies may do other way around also. But you as parents must understand few things. Is it really a medical condition or it's a physiological thing? Two things are there. Physiological is normal. When we say normal, it is normal. That's how the baby is going to be for next 3-4 months. So when the baby is being checked by a doctor, baby is growing well, baby is hydrated, baby is passing enough urine, baby is able to drink your milk and being active. As I said, 99% of the times, don't worry, don't panic. Of course, your sleep pattern as parents will be disturbed, will be thrown out of the window. And I say, see, parenting is a Herculean task. It's a roller coaster. So you ensure that you somehow get those at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep for yourself. When the baby is sleeping, you try to sleep. And baby, because you never know when the baby is up and all that. So for a newborn, this pattern is very normal. And again, let me put a disclaimer, because newborn is a very, very sensitive age. And there could be anything as extreme as a cardiac problem to as simple as an infantile colic problem, stomach pain. So we don't comment, we don't generalize. We always say first 6 months of life is very crucial. Take an opinion from a pediatrician or doctor. If he says nothing to worry, then just wait it out. You will come out of that zone.
Can I add on something to it?
Yes,
Because
please.
some babies, when they catch the parental anxiety, and that also makes them cry.
Brilliant.
So when the mom and dad are constantly going to hospital, to
absolutely.
doctors to show a baby.
This
that's
is
not
the area which I am in fact focusing more on nowadays than talking about general health. There is something called as non-anxious presence,
Okay.
which we parents must employ. Non-anxious presence, because my anxiety, my mental framework, my mental status is mimicked by my baby. So anxious parents lead to, without their knowledge, anxious kids. You've seen parents, right? Hurrying, rushing. Come on, do this one. To school or anything for that matter. That anxiety is infectious. It starts from newborn period. In fact, it doesn't start from newborn period. It starts from the first day of conception. And that's the concept of first 1,000 days of life.
Yeah, true.
Which you would know phenomenally better than me. First 1,000 days of life, your brain is rapidly developing. Speed of neuronal formation, synaptic formation is 700 to 800 synapses per second.
My goodness.
Unimaginably fast, because 80% of the brain is done by 2 years. So imagine you as parents, how positive you should be, how non-anxious you should be, how constructive things you should do in terms of everything. So on the contrary, they become anxious. They become anxious for the things which are physiological and normal. So this feels, it feels sad. And ironically, the people who come from a lesser educational background, who come from villages, who come from not a great high funda degrees, they don't stress out. They have some great belief in nature or some traditional thing. Nothing. Oh, crying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, we so-called professors of social media professors and Google professors, we go bonkers. Baby cries, we bring the roof down, we call 911, we call 102, 100 police, everybody. No, I think that should not, that should stop. And we should have more faith and belief in nature
Very true.
and have non-anxious presence, as I said. And parenting is a beautiful journey. Enjoy, have a faith in nature. That's what I say.
I think it's a very fast-paced world we live in. More educated, more awareness, more fast-paced, and you worry about every single thing.
Absolutely.
But that is going on towards the babies. That's not good.
Exactly. That's what I say. I say, forget the baby. How do you talk to your wife? I get into those things nowadays. Because a newborn is growing. Whether he does anything or not. Of course, I'm saying you feed the baby, she's going to be rapid growth in first 1 year, right? She's absorbing everything. How are you talking to your husband? How's the environment at home? What you guys are, how's your tone of your language? What topics you discuss in front of your baby? These
Everything,
things have a profound
Impact.
impact. In fact, the studies have shown their IQ, their emotional intelligence, their thinking capacity, their mental ability, including, it'll be shocking, including their income generating capacity is decided in the first 1,000 days of life. So I can't go back and complain to my mom and dad that you didn't take care of me. That's why I'm not earning well today. But I'm saying this has an impact.
Yeah.
This has an immense impact. So when I tell them these things, they're like, oh my God. No, doctor, from now I'll change. Some people absorb and learn and change.
That's true.
But I'm saying you be calm, patient, and trust in nature. Things will be fine.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of info to make. There's lots of information available there. And parents are just lapping it up and creating their own wisdom. The problem is that no one is vetting it out and telling this is right, this is wrong. And no one is there to control the internet either. So it's anyone's guess.
Internet is a public toilet. Anybody can come and do whatever you want to.
Yeah, very good.
I think there's more misinformation than there is good
Absolutely.
information. So we spoke about 1,000 days of life. So I just want to jump in and can you give us 2 or 3 important things parents have to do in the first 1,000 days of life?
There are multiple things, important things, as I said. See, the only constant thing in life is change. Right, Manasa? Now, I used to be a bachelor. I would eat at my own time. I would sleep at my own sweet time. I would loaf around, roam around, do whatever I want to do, right? I'm accountable to myself. Now, my parents have given up on me. Now, I get married. Now, I have a responsibility. Now, I can't tell my wife or contrary to her husband, if I'm going to come back at 2 a.m. only. I used to hang out with my family. No, you have to change. Now, when you become a parent, this is, I would say, the biggest transformation ever in your life. Opportunity for transformation. Transformation may happen, may not happen. Opportunity. Now, here, all your negatives, you work on your loopholes, you work on your shortcomings. I've been very short-tempered, man. No, you change. Your son is watching you. No, I've been a little abusive. I don't have. Son is watching you. No, I wake up very late. Your son is watching you. Think about your son. Now, these are your challenges, your shortcomings you have, right? No, doctor, I wake up very late. I sleep very late for that matter. I watch Netflix. And think about your son. You want your son or a daughter to be like you. Do it. No problem. You do whatever you want to do. But if you think for a moment, no, I don't want him to be like me because I have a lot of weaknesses. So change how you talk to your wife, how you talk to your domestic help, how you talk to your colleague, how you spend your free time. What are you doing? Are you reading or scrolling? No? And how are you a fitness enthusiast? At least to some extent, do you work out? Because I want my son to be leader. Now, I want my son to be leader, but I am behaving like who? So I tell them, so there are many things you can do, not 1 or 2 things. But everything comes to change us. Imagine in next 1 or 2 years, your own colleagues, friends, or relatives say, you look different. You look more healthier, you look more happier. I don't know, how do you feel? And my dear friend, that is copied by
Your son.
your child. You don't have schooling, everything is there, boss. Everything is there. Parents are the first, as you said, first and great therapists.
Correct.
And the greatest teachers of all time. Because they copy constant. My son says, when I say something, you said that. You also did that. That day he remembers. I can't fool around, right? One day I scrolled while eating. You watch phone while eating. Once is enough.
Yeah.
So we cannot fool them.
Like a tiny clone of you.
Tiny clone of us. So we can only walk or talk. That's the only way by we can change their future. Still, exceptional cases, they may not follow you. But I'm saying at least you will transform yourself.
Yeah.
That is what I suggest.
So in a way, be a living example to your children,
Yeah.
so that they emulate what you want to
Absolutely.
give to the world.
Absolutely.
Absolutely brilliant.
One very common technique we use as a speech therapist, we tell the parents, if you want your child to talk, you have to talk. You want your child to play, you have to play.
Excellent.
So it's just modeling, right?
Excellent.
The child models what you do. So
Brilliant.
that's very important.
Yeah.
And like you said, you be what you are, the child is going to be what you are.
Yes.
That is
You know, I had one child, he's about 4.5. Okay. His mother's complaint is, doctor बहुत गालियां देता है. He is very abusive. I asked, what kind of abusive words? मतलब, all muting, you're supposed to mute those words. Alright, he's 4.5. Yes. Where did he learn from? I asked him very innocently. Where does he learn? I have no idea, doctor. Then 2 weeks later, her father and mother both had come, his father and mother. His father entered the clinic with, on the phone, okay? He was a little rude with somebody on the phone. He said, I'm hanging up. He hung up. He was very sweet to me. Doctor Sir, namaste. Then I checked with my staff. He was on the phone outside. What is his tone? The staff said he was abusing somebody. You know what I'm saying? Nature cannot lie.
True.
It is us who they pick up from. With you may think, oh, I'm just talking on the phone in the corner somewhere. If it is your personality, it will be there.
Yes.
So it's as simple as it is. Don't try to fool your children by portraying to be some saint or some thing, and you have a other villain picture on the side. That doesn't happen. Your child will know you better than the way you know your child also better than anybody else. Yeah.
But many of the behavioral patterns also are genetically acquired. Not everything, but many of them. And I think partly it helps if the parents know that I've got this genetically endowed behavior pattern. And if I model it differently, that helps child to change the behavior. Because there are some parents who say that the father, he was always very angry. So the child is permitted to be angry. I tell them, no, it's because the father was permitted to be angry.
Yes.
That's why the child is becoming angry.
Allowing it to happen.
Just allowing it to happen.
I think acceptance, as I said, a lot of us don't accept who we are. Don't accept our drawbacks, our weaknesses, so that then only you can correct them, right? And it's always a blame game, right? They come to us, they sit, sir, he's always on mobile phone. Why do you? Sir, my wife, sir. So she doesn't even know. In my mind, I was like, who are you? Sir, I said, what's your role? So, sir, I'm like, I go to office and I come back and after coming back, what do you do? You don't answer me, you answer yourself. After coming home, you work. Baba, you are a busy worker. You are number one in Bangalore. You are the hard working number one. We'll give you award. Fine. After coming home, what are our as a father and mother responsibilities? So let's not blame, oh, my wife is doing this, my husband is. We take care of our ownership. Okay, now it's my time with my child. 1 hour non-negotiable. Undivided attention. Undivided. Not this. Oh, that is, you drew a lion? Very nice lion. Oh, very beautiful. They have not even seen the lion picture. Beautiful, amazing, super. Keep it up. Go. He knows it. He's like, are you fooling me around? So, this is what I said. You take up your ownership as a father. You've got roles and responsibilities. As a mother. Because if you are doing blame game, your son tomorrow grow up to blame his wife, his neighbors, his boss, the government, everybody he'll blame. Then he will not take ownership. He'll be throwing tissues on the road and he'll blame BBMP to clean up. So I think we should take the ownership.
If they witness domestic violence, the boys become domestic violators when they grow.
Absolutely.
What
Young
they see.
people.
Yeah.
Yes. And on the contrary, if mothers have been the victims of domestic abuse, if they have never done anything about it, if either they have protested, nor they have taken some action, nor they have confronted that, the daughters internalize that. And the daughters tomorrow grow up to be same. Most of them.
They accept that role.
They accept that role.
Yes.
They said, this is what it is.
This is what they saw growing up.
This is what they saw growing up. So tomorrow they will not report maybe sexual abuse also maybe in their office. Maybe at home, the domestic, maybe in the school tomorrow they grow up, something happens. Whatever the documents you see, whatever the reports of child abuse, or sexual abuse, or rape, whatever you see, it's reported, mind you.
Yeah.
It's tip of the iceberg.
True.
There are hundreds and thousands of cases which, out of stigma, out of prejudice, out of social dogma, they have never come out. So it all starts from home. It all starts what kind of environment you're giving to your children.
Respect.
Absolutely.
Correct. Okay. My next question is, as we discussed about the developmental delays, all of the disorders, is it on the rise now? Everybody's worried about it. Do you think the incidence of it or the prevalence has increased day by day?
Well, first of all, I must say certain parts of the country or of the world have certain conditions that are on the rise. But on the other hand, if you look at the whole geography of the conditions, it's on the rise because people are more aware of it, number one. Number two, there's also a lot of understanding about it, that this is the condition. And so even the doctors are also more aware. So both sides, the incidence is just increasing because of increasing awareness. But at the same time, certain conditions like cerebral palsy, surprisingly, is going down. So when I started off in this field, I used to see lots of children with cerebral palsy. But coming down to India, I'm finding more cases of autism going up and ADHD, all those neurodivergence, more than cerebral palsy and motor disorders. So I think there's a lot of change happening due to the improved medical care. But at the same time, there's a study called Epicure study, which I had been a part of in UK, where they followed up children from very early days because they were born very premature. And it's found that even they come out unscathed without any physical deformity. Many of them are showing signs of ADHD and autism. So that's a different kind of scenario altogether. So even if there is a lot of awareness increasing, there's also a change in scenario from motor disorders to other conditions like autism and ADHD. So I think it's very easy to just brush it off and
Just say that it's increasing.
Yeah,
but that's not true.
It's a bit of balance on both sides. That's how I see it.
Okay. So next question will be about vaccinations. So vaccinations, we know it's crucial, we know it is important, but there's a lot of fear and myths surrounding it. So can you just address the fears which parents have about it and tell us about it?
See, when it comes to vaccinations, of course, there are a lot of misconceptions. A lot of misconceptions are there. Simple things are like, oh, pain and this and that, and immunity comes down. On the contrary, let the child have natural immunity, so on and so forth. So they don't understand that vaccination doesn't change the overall immunity of the child. It just imparts, it gives immunity against specific diseases for which vaccination has been given. One of the biggest myths which is going on for, I think, decades across the globe is the vaccination is a predisposing factor for autism.
Yeah.
So this, I've been coming across this, a lot of patients show this concern. Some parents come and ask us, some parents don't even come, that, okay, I don't want to take, they have already decided. So it's all started in the year 1998. One gentleman by name Andrew Wakefield, he just published an article in Lancet, one of the very popular international journals, out of a study he had done with only 12 or 15 children, okay, that MMR vaccine caused autism.
Okay.
The study group was very small, negligible, 15, 16. And he published it, 1998. So that became a huge uproar, and everywhere there was panic. It became a huge news. It's like something shocking, right? So then this wave spread. A lot of people panicked. Then they stopped vaccinating, and there are a lot of backlash for vaccination companies and this and that. Then that couple of Japanese and United States of America based companies and researchers wanted to dig deep into it, and they conducted a proper cohort study with I think 800 or 1,000 children, and they did multiple such studies from multiple countries. Studies happened, and they documented that there is no evidence to support or prove that MMR or any other vaccine for that matter has a direct correlation with autism. But damage is already made, and negativity spreads far wider and deeper than anything else. So it's since then MMR vaccine autism, but there is no link whatsoever at all. I asked them this question, okay, for the sake of argument, let's assume that MMR caused vaccination. I have had in my clinic, in my practice, the past 12, 14 years, so many children from rural backgrounds, so many children from even urban backgrounds who never have been vaccinated. For some reason, they have missed so many vaccines, and from, as I said, underprivileged thing. They have autism. Now, how do you explain that? So, autism has been on this planet much, much before the advent of vaccine itself.
Yes.
So, there is no scientific thing. So, people who are open to understand, there are a lot of people who want to clarify, who want to get to the facts. We educate them, I create awareness. In fact, I even have made videos about it. So then we can and make them understand. But some people, as I said, who are rigid, who see, there's always an idea in your mind against something, and you got some unproven or some vague so-called social media or internet message about it. Now you consolidate that idea, and no matter what, it cannot change. So unfortunately, I feel bad for those children whose parents are misguided, and because of whom children may have to pay the price. Eventually, parents also have to pay the price. So I educate and I leave it. Vaccination is your prerogative. It is your right. Government cannot impose. Doctor cannot impose. We can only educate, create the awareness. You take an opinion, take a second opinion, take a third opinion, doesn't matter. But the call should only be yours. So tomorrow, you should not tell your child or anybody, a doctor told me not to take it. You can tell your child, your neighbor told you. Then your child will take your class. Your child will talk to you. You listen to the neighbor, not your doctor. So that is your problem. But you take the suggestion, opinion, you make that call after taking informed consent. You should not be in ignorance that I never knew about it. Had somebody told me, I would have taken it. That's why I educate and leave it at that. But vaccination has no relevance, no correlation to autism as such. In fact, to reaffirm, he will be a better person.
Yes. So Dr. Wakefield, who brought this paper out, the controversial paper, actually was exposed because later on it was found that most of the information there was falsified. So I put in a lot of information by just creating patients that didn't really exist. And that was the biggest mistake. And the worst thing was when this paper came out, lots of parents, I was in England at the time, and lots of parents stopped giving MMR. And there was a huge epidemic in Ireland because it's an island. It's an island. Ireland is an island. And because the people were dead against giving vaccination, there was a huge measles epidemic and lots of children died. So as a result of that, they had to look into this. And because death is something that hits parents. And as a result of which, they went back and looked at all these documents and they found it all falsified. So he was expelled from practicing medicine in England. But as you can imagine, he went to US and he was practicing there. But I believe that was also stopped later on. But the sad thing is that the immunization is given around 14 months. And that's around the time when autism becomes
14 months.
So that's
correct. That's a coincidental.
And people just think that's the correlation between the vaccine is what is the root
So just
cause.
imagine somebody will come and tell you that, okay, wearing helmet will make you important. And you stop wearing helmet. What would happen in a entire week?
You can statistically prove it. All the people are important. They wore helmets sometimes. That's the way. No,
I mean, if you look at it like that, I
that's
know.
the way of statistically.
No, I'm thinking, is it true? No, he's right. That's what he's saying. So the correlation people would, it's like,
So all road traffic accidents are caused by immunization.
Yeah.
You look at all the people who have had road traffic accidents, they have had immunization sometimes.
So
how
they
do
link
you
it.
correlate
You
to-
can link anything to anything.
That's the thing.
And people are there to believe it. And
That's the thing.
So I think, so what happens if parents miss a few vaccinations? What do they do?
if you want that answer in one sentence, nothing happens. In the sense, again, let me come back to the same example. What happens if I continue to ride my bike without helmet? One point of discussion is nothing happens. Nothing has happened. For hundreds of thousands of people, nothing has happened. But one hapless moment, one unfortunate day, a moment can ruin your entire life. You will be dead. So same way, if vaccine is missed, God forbid, if the child had never had to face that virus or bacteria in his or her whole life, throughout her, childhood journey, she grows up fine. Maybe in future also.
Yeah.
If the children are children, They're exposed everywhere. They play, they run, they eat. If a child comes across the typhoid virus or a varicella virus, she has to face the brunt. So that's what happens. It is not that neither it can increase your immunity nor it will give you a specific protection against the specific disease. So I tell them very clearly, you believe that you want to give your child protection against these infections. Tomorrow my child goes to school. I don't want these to be those impediments in my child's educational career. I don't want typhoid to be disturbing her for 1 week and she needs to be bedridden. I don't want varicella to get chicken pox rashes. You decide. No, sir, I don't want that. Then take the call. Somebody said, no, I don't care, sir. Dekha jayega, sir. Nature hai, sir. Sir, I've never taken a vaccine, sir. And I'm fine, sir. Go ahead, sir. Your choice, sir. So I don't force. It's not my job. They should come and force me. Sir, please give vaccine to my child. Why should I force? So this is what is the risk of not taking vaccines.
So as we discussed about autism and, so what if the child has autism? Can you tell us about how you can, there's a lot of stigma about it.
Yeah.
It's surprising that a parent would rather not vaccinate just for the fear of having autism, which is not really a bad thing.
Yeah.
So how do you tell parents? How do you tell them that it's okay? How do you help them with the acceptance part?
See, if you look at, like Sethu was saying earlier, autism has always been on this planet. It's not something that sprouted out in the last 50 years. Because Kanner and his team made a diagnosis of autism based on certain criteria that he put certain symptoms together, and we are following that even now. But if you look at it, do we see kids following the proper textbook? We don't often see that because we worked in this field. The funny thing is that we have been so indoctrinated to believe that if someone has got autism, along with that comes a list of symptoms. But they should be seeing their child as Raja or whatever his name is, rather than seeing as autism.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I tell them. Your child is your child. And your child will have all the positives that you have and some of the difficulties that we have. We'll have to accept it. Rather than focusing on the difficulties and not focusing on the positives. If you're keeping on looking at the symptoms and focusing on it, you will see everything, what's not there in your child. As there are some parents who come to your clinic and say, there's no eye contact, she's got autism. I say, what about one swallow does not make a summer? Let's go into other features. No, that's all not there. So who brought this idea into your head? Well, we did a little bit of reading and we think this kid's got features of autism. So there are times when sometimes you got to be loggerheads with them. Most of the time, I've got to be very kind because here is a condition that has been eating their brain for quite a few days, weeks before they come to you. And at the time, they are almost convinced that the child's got autism. And that's when I also tell them, in one of my reels, I've said that my father had autism, undoubtedly. I'm saying it in the public because clearly he was a person who just could not bear to face a big crowd. He wouldn't be in any meeting like this. But he was a colonel in the army. He retired. And that because there was a hierarchy. Anything he would belt out, people would follow the orders. It was very controlling, is what I would say. And that, if you look at it, he had all the features, typical features of autism, but it was not diagnosed. He has children and grandchildren, and we are all grown, I think, perfectly normal. And I think there's a lot to be said about that. Acceptance of autism as a disorder or a disease is what is bugging us. But if you accept it as just a little bit of difference by how we behave, I think things do become much more common. And that's what I focus on. And I say, look at your child. He's got so many talents. He's got so many virtues. He's one of your fortunate.
Absolutely.
He's one of the fortunate kids in this world.
Yeah.
Because he's got lovely parents like you. And you've got lots of positive things. Surely he's going to come out with those positive things in the future. Why do you focus on these negatives?
Exactly.
And that sometimes it does work. But sometimes this doctor doesn't know it.
Also,
And I'm
there are
okay with that.
amazingly successful people on the planet who are autistic.
That's the next
Or
point.
we
I
see ADHD.
Mhm.
They're amazing. There are Hollywood actors, there are writers, there are industrialists, there are entrepreneurs, there are so many people.
Well, Bill
What
Gates
stopped
is
them?
Bill Gates is it.
Yeah. What stopped them? See, it is about how you look at it, as you said, how you accepting the child as a whole. Put autism aspect one side altogether. Let's even talk about autism. You look at the child's certain things which might be bothering you. Don't look at those things. As I said, don't look at the pinpoint. Don't look at that mole. Look how the mole is making that entire thing look beautiful.
Yes,
So what do we say?
that's nice
You look
to-
at the entire child as a whole. He's unique, just like you, just like other child. Every child is unique.
Yeah.
First of all, we don't compare. First of all, there's no standardization that he has to be like this, she has to, nothing like that. So yes, there may be certain areas we may need some expert opinion, help. Please seek it. But you'll take away the creativity of the child by making him or her realize that there is some drawbacks or something lacking in her or him. That potential might come down. She is born to fly and you're clipping wings without your own knowledge.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
I think putting them in a box, the minute they hear autism, they put them in a
Yes.
box. But they're first your child, Raja or whatever your child is. Then autism.
Yeah.
It's just a part of them, it is a different
As I said,
thing.
forget the autism. The complexion is the biggest disease. I have had this 10, 11-year-old girl who was brought to my cabin. She was sitting, she was made to sit next to me. I was talking, looking at her. I looked at the grandmother and the mother. I said, Kya hua isko? What happened? Doctor Saab, look at her. Then I looked at her. Hi. What happened to her? Doctor Saab, look at her again.
She's a human being.
है क्या? नहीं, Doctor Saab, look at her color, doctor. Look. And she is sitting like this.
Was in front of
They're killing her. They're just destroying her alive. Then I looked at her. Color? What color? Usko kuch color, kuch karo. Then I sent her out. I said, I know whom to treat. Then I was clear who needs treatment. Then I said, jao beta, tum bahar jao. Then I took that 3rd degree class to the grandmother and mother. That what rubbish are you talking? You are killing her, literally killing her. Because somebody is alive, who's dead here, what is the life? You're destroying her. Does she go to school? I said, हाँ, she goes to school. पढ़ाई में बहुत अच्छी है, पढ़ती है. I said, तुम्हारे दिमाग में गोबर है? What rubbish are you talking? नहीं डॉक्टर साहब, वो सोसाइटी उसका कलर ये. Talk nonsense, यार. You have no idea what you're talking about. Please don't do that. Let me tell you something very clearly. There is no cream on the planet which will make anybody fair. And I thank God it's not there. Thank God it is not there. And she is such a brilliant, you got a blessing. There are children who come to me. I don't even want to talk about them. There are so many deformities. So many abnormalities. Birth defects. Cerebral palsies. So many other issues. I mean,
count your blessings.
Yeah. So what are you... Imagine if that were to be there. Oh, no. Then she was in tears and all that. And I said, this is the last ever time you're bringing this topic in front of her. If others talk, let them talk. I don't care. You are at home. You impact her more. You wake up in the morning, tell her, "Wah, meri pyari kitni khoobsurat lag rahi hai aaj."
Bilkul.
Wow, come on. Today is a great day. Go, enjoy, conquer the world. Send her out. Go to the school. Go play. Do it. So you see next 2, 3, 4, 5 years what she will bring to your home. What kind of fortune she'll bring. So then they were very emotional. So no, we don't have problems, sir. Society, neighbors, and I said, rubbish. So I think this is the biggest disease. Then leave it all these neurological things on one side. These things, appearances, complexion is biggest. So that is what our job has become. Most of the cases, if you don't treat, it is self-limiting.
Right. The other thing is that, I want to mention here, a child, when they're growing up, what really scars them is guilt and shame. And here, the child is being made to feel guilty because
humiliated.
And there's a lot of shame. They go home with that feeling that my parents don't want me. So that's one thing I tell them. Do you think by talking about your child in front of them, do you think he's going to love you? He's going to feel this is not
mismatch. I'm not a right person in this family kind of a thing. And imagine confidence. Tomorrow, let's say she has scored 95%, whatever it is. Teacher calls her, come on the stage, share 2 lines. How do you feel? Do you think she'll get up and go? No, you have to shut her down. She's like, no, I don't want. Because already there are kids of such parents
who will be talking
also
about
coming to the school. And they also have same language, same kind of environment. Oh, look at her, whatever names they call. She'll never be able to come up.
See, what you said was, even the adult patterns of behavior, of confidence, is actually affected by those days or those minutes where they have been scarred for the rest of their life. So it's very sad.
Somebody has to
somebody
de-link that, no? Somebody has to de-link that. And who will it be? If somebody comes and said, you be the one. You be the torch bearer. You take it up. You take her, you make her to participate and expose her to things which anybody in the society and family never thought of.
Absolutely. There's no other better advocate than your own parents.
Your own
And if
parents.
your own parents do not guide you in
Sania
the right
Mirza.
direction, yeah, true.
Do you think she never faced backlash? What kind of even threats they have faced, the entire family faced? What kind of
Oh, yeah.
taunts and comments and ridicule she faced?
Yeah, it's not.
From so many people, from relatives, from the society, from the communities, from everything. So the parents stood with her.
That's the most important. Yeah.
Parents stood with her. How
The
did it matter?
presence, yeah.
She's now global celebrity. So I say we don't worry about they are saying it is none of your, see what others think is none of your business, no? Why do you bother, Baba? Tomorrow she'll come and tell you, your husband looks ugly, leave him. Will you leave him? He'll come and tell you, wife, you get better. Will you leave her? Again, same thing. No, people are telling, right? Society is telling you, this house is so shabby, you should dump it and go. Will you do everything? You decide, you have your role to play, you have your own capabilities, you have your own boundaries. Your children are looking at you as leaders. Tomorrow they'll say, my father stood with me, my mother stood with me. And that is priceless.
सीता भी कभी बदनाम हुई.
सीता भी कोई बदनाम हुई.
Yeah, wait, that's all. कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना.
Exactly.
That's true. I think, like you said, change is the only constant. You have to change. You have to be the person who's
right.
there for your child.
Right.
That's
Be the
true.
change
Yeah.
yourself. rather
Be the
than
change. Mahatma
expecting
Gandhi
others.
said, right?
Yeah.
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Correct. So next, very common question, up and coming topic, screen time. So I think both of you would have seen children with excessive screen time. So can you give us some idea of what the uncontrolled screen time, unsupervised screen time can do?
I think there's a study that's been very recently presented. And I think that is the best study that I have come across. It clearly says that it's not the screen time. It is about what the content of the screen is. So it's rather than watching something that's very engaging. Well, look at us. We've been using screens much, much more. Have we become idiots? Have we lost our intelligence? No, it doesn't affect
I don't know about you, I think I have become a little bit for the past few.
Okay, let's be a bit serious here. Okay. So the screen time, when you look at a screen, it's a lot of imagination going on behind it. But when there are multiple frames within a second or within a minute, that does distract a child because you can't even focus on a single frame. And before you assimilated it, the next frame has come and the next frame has come. So the issue is about child being so distracted. Who wasn't distracted gets distracted, number one. And more than that, people always put screens as a cause for autism as well. The poor autism has done nothing. It's come genetically from parents and they don't want to accept that. And there's a speech therapist, I'm sorry to say that. Sometimes speech therapists make them feel very guilty. You put your child in front of the television for so many hours, that's why the child's got autism. But there's not one single study that's proven that sitting in front of a screen for so many hours makes them autistic or makes them learning disabled or something. There's no study. And I'm surprised that this word, virtual autism, has arisen from India. It's nowhere else.
Oh, it's
There's
from India, is
nothing,
it?
no
Okay.
textbook says about virtual autism. It's clearly a creation of our Indian imagination. Indian
Because
imagination.
I read somewhere psychologists named it up. I don't know why it's coming up, but parents, when they Google it, virtual
That's
autism
a
comes
word.
up.
But
Psychologists who became parents.
Probably.
no, but they are finding the other parents. They're blaming the other parents, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's sad.
So, I mean, there was one mother who said that I go to my own home. My mom says putting too much in front of the screen is what caused your child to have autism. I go to my in-laws' house and I'm hearing it all the time. Where do I go now? So I asked her to do a quick poll, like a deep poll. I sent her to ask all the kids who are going to the nursery and I asked them to say how many, honestly, it won't be disclosed to anyone, how many hours. Each one of them has said 6 to 8 hours.
Wow.
And how come none of them developed autism? And this kid's got autism. And when I saw the husband who came a few months later, oh my God, he didn't have any eye contact, he wouldn't look at you, was so shifty. So clearly the autism had come from that. And the grandmother who was in the same house, she was a tyrant. She would never have a servant staying with them for more than 3 days. And she never had her husband was staying in the outhouse.
My God.
So you can imagine where that clearly the lineage is very
Coming
clear.
from, yeah.
So the mom, I
Genes
told her-
don't lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. So I told, bring your mother. And the mom said, I'm going to take her home. I understand very well, but I'd be rather that issues there. They'll create a problem. That's the only reason why I'm asking you to sort it out and come back. The next time, both the grandmothers came, the showdown was there, and she agreed. The grandmother agreed. There were lots of difficulties in herself and in her son. So she didn't want to face that reality.
right.
That has come from that
As
side.
it accept, they don't accept it.
Yeah, so I think screen time does cause these disturbances in attention,
Yeah.
speech.
No, as I said,
Autism.
the autism, of course, no relation. As I said, see, the distraction, the
Yeah.
kind of content you're watching, the
That's true.
flashy screens, the color changing, multiple colors. Child is like, overstimulated brain, number one, and distractions are too many. I had a boy who was about 9-year-old a couple of weeks ago, and physically fit, healthy, no issues, physical ailments, nothing. The only challenge is aggressive. He still has tantrums. Very very disobedient. All these things. Answers back and he fights and everything. Then I just had a casual. They were in Middle East, somewhere Abu Dhabi. So they were here for a vacation or something like that. Then I spoke to him and he realized we had 2-3 minutes of chit chat and this and that. And then I sent him out and I was having a conversation. So what does he do free time? How does he spend his day generally? No, so he plays and this and that, and of course he's into mobile TV and all that. So how many hours does he watch? I said 4 hours minimum. He said, okay, he's 9 years. Chalo, theek hai, for holidays, sir, he's watching 4 to 5 hours and all that movie. What does he watch? I said, then mother trying to be little, put him in the good books. She's like, no, sir, he watches some cartoons. No, sir. Watches full gun violence.
That's the thing.
He watches full action or accidents, car accidents, gun violence, shooting, all this. Okay. And she's like, no, that occasionally. No, sir, daily. The moment we enter the living room, he fraction of a second, he flips the channel. Okay. Sir, his favorite movie is KGF. 9-year-old. He watched KGF 25 times, I believe.
Goodness.
And on Netflix, 9-year-old.
Why did
Access to Netflix. All 3 parts of KGF. I think next 4th he'll be there in KGF. KGF 4. He'll act the way they. And I told parents, what kind of exposure are you giving him? We become what we see. We become what we eat. We become what we read. So he's 9 years. He's been doing it since 3-4 years. Yes, sir. Sir, now what to do? What to do? You go jump in a well, both of you. What to do? What can I do? It is you. And obviously he will throw tantrum. He'll be aggressive. He wants to show that at home. He wants to become that macho man and whatever. KGF. What is KGF?
It's survival.
Is
For
it
a 9-year-old?
9-year-old? A teenager watches. He's looking for a gun after the movie. An adult is becoming violent after 9-year-old. So see what he's exposed to matters a lot.
So when you said that, the science behind that is that you're going through this fight and flight response each time.
Yeah.
You go into survival mode and you're watching these games where you're kind of surviving. And even when the game is over, your mind is still in the survival
Exactly.
mode. And you're still going through this fight and flight response. So when your mother comes and says, time for dinner, attacks him. Because that's still that fight and flight.
Because
mode is going on.
amygdala of your brain, it is part of the brain which is responsible for fear,
So I'm
anger,
storing that.
fight and flight, all this, aggression behavior. Amygdala becomes hyperactive
Okay.
in these children who are exposed to such aggression, such violence, such hostile environments. Their amygdala is hyperreactive. So whenever you say something, they're always ready to pounce on you.
That's the thing.
They're always ready to. So some husband and wife, amygdala also hyperactive. Wife says, go bring some vegetable. Control your amygdalas because that is something which is alarm, overactive. You have to use your frontal lobe. That is your pilot, your analytical thinking, prefrontal cortex, which is your control of your body. So we must train our children to utilize their frontal lobe by teaching them maybe meditation, helping them read books, teaching them how to control their anger, teaching them how to respond rather than react,
Yeah, that's it.
and screen time and the content they're watching. So this is, as you said very rightly, in Netflix. I mean, it's not recommended to a few adults only.
Yeah.
The kind of content they are streaming. So how can your child watch it and you so happily, proudly you're displaying to the world and announcing to them. So that is something.
So who is the adult at home? Is
Yeah.
the boy or the
Exactly.
parent? That's the first question.
Who's
Yeah.
who's
So we just said
parenting
about
whom?
Amygdala. This is amygdala, and that's the prefrontal cortex.
Superb.
So tell them to control
It
Yeah.
is.
And when that gets released, this starts to make that panic signals and creates that sort of
True.
anger and total tantrums. And this carries on because parents let him do that rather than helping him to calm.
The biggest challenge, I would say, great fear of, parents have of losing the trust and love of the child is saying no.
No.
They don't want to draw the boundary. Oh, my child might get hurt. My child might hate me, or I don't know, some saying no. Do you not understand? Your no today will lead him to conquer something tomorrow. And that same child in grows up tomorrow, they'll say, my father stopped me. That's why today I am.
Wow.
Or on the contrary, their parents who are telling to the kids who are telling, my parent didn't stop me. My parent did this. They should have given you 2 slaps.
No slap.
I know what I'm saying. The kids are saying, of course, I'm not talking about corporal punishment. I'm saying, अगर वो मेरे को मारते, 2 मार के स्कूल भेजते, तो मैं जो इधर रोड पे मैं पंक्चर नहीं डालता साहब. They said that to me. Then मैं नहीं करता साहब. मेरे को I stopped going to school. They said, oh, screw it. You do one thing, go to nearby one place, you work there. And had they little been firm. So we have to be little firm. You can show love, politeness, everything.
It's called.
Toughness has to be there. That's your role. Before some cop, some neighbor, some authority corrects your child,
The world teaches.
you correct.
See, the issue is here. As a child, it's easier to kind of model the behavior. As they go older, imagine a boy having tantrums at the age of 5. People might accept it, but by 10 they start to look at it.
Exactly.
By the time if he continues to 17, you can imagine he has not developed
I've seen the
mature
children.
skills.
I've seen children, as you said, 10, 12-year-old, behaving like a 5-year-old. And I don't find it cool. Nobody finds it cool.
Yeah, true.
You're like,
Not
is not
cute at all. Yeah.
It is not adorable. You look at the parents and they said, something wrong. Unless the child has a neurological problem. That is different.
Yeah, true.
So this is your responsibility, only your love. You're the only parent in the world who has love.
Yeah.
You're the only one who was given birth.
So we spoke a lot about the 1000 days of life, vaccinations, and the importance of parenting and being there for your child. Change is the constant. That is something I will remember. And we have a lot more to discuss, more information to talk about, and more awareness to spread. So stay tuned for part 2 of our episode.